I built an entire Clash of Clans base in Blender. In this video I'll show how I did that. And the best part of it, you can download it for free. So you really wanna watch this video! This is Clash of Clans, but RTX is on.
What an intro, but you are hooked now. So yeah, I would say first we go back a few years, because back then, like 2020, I was actually one of the best players in Germany, and back then Tunnel 13 was the best, and I don't really have a big connection to these two others, the newer ones. So for me, I thought about doing this since a long time, like something like that, but like the little push was Lenz Graphics. You've probably already seen his video. Like there he built in Tunnel 2 village, and he said this about this.
So I chose a Town Hall 2 base because the higher levels have way too many buildings.
And he was so right. Like it took me several days finishing all of this. There I learned a lot. I really dived into this. And the quintessence of the quintessence, these like very precise tips you'll get in the next seconds. Most of these buildings are symmetrical, like have like 4 corners or something like this. So turning on the z-axis was very helpful, like 45 degrees or 90 degrees. Like this, I made a lot of these things, and yeah, I would definitely use this plus duplicating stuff. Like only make one corner, and then you can rotate it around the 3D cursor by 90 degrees, and then repeat it, because like this is like one movement in total. Then what I like to do personally, like it's personal preference, but what I did was applying the materials very early on, like thinking about the color palette. I really like this color tone, like this ice looks pretty cool, purple. Then this green is actually my favorite color. Like my school bag used to have this color, my favorite shoes have this color, my favorite pencil has this color. And even if you see this here, my software blender has also that green tone, so it was a no-brainer using this color palette. Another very useful thing I figured out was using the pre-shapes of it by default. Like most of these things here are squares, are circles, triangles, and octagons. And yeah, like most of these have like 4 sides, but for example the internal tower, if you want to do this, then like kind of only use cylinder 3, and then you can model the internal tower much easier by default shape. That's also very helpful. And now let's speak a little bit about the convenience of this software. And it's from time to time I really thought it's like it's meant to do this, because the first thing is grid snap. Kind of you can turn it off on here on top, or with shift tab. And what this does is that your objects are snapped to the grid, and then it's like literally like edit mode. It's like going on that field. And this is also why I didn't really change the scale that much, because by this now most buildings are like 1 square, 2 square, or 3 square, which are like 1 to 3 meters in reality. So if I would be standing next to there, I would have like kind of this size. Yeah, so this works very well. And also like default things that you add in there, like a new sphere or whatever, already has the perfect shape for becoming an elixir storage or something like this. Let's speak for 1 second about the beautiful modifiers, and especially the array modifier, because when I started thinking about the walls, I kind of made one kind of the bigger wall for the corners, and then one other wall for like in between. And I thought about duplicating this now 300 times, because tunnels have 300 walls. Yeah, but there's this here on the modifiers, and there's this array modifier, and with this you can make the same object arrayed in line. And what's even cooler, again to the textures, the textures get applied around the whole object. And if you would duplicate now every single wall, object, the texture would repeat, and every single piece would look the exact same. But because of the array, it gets a new bigger object, and the texture gets unwrapped around everything. And by this you have a beautiful new texture with all your details, but every single piece looks a little bit different. And another thing about the procedural materials is that you can change these later on as well. So you don't have to put it into Substance Paint and then it's fixed and then it's done like this. With that method, you can change whatever you want in whatever color, in whatever lighting, whatever blah blah blah. This is sponsored by nobody, but yeah, technically, like this whole thing in Clash of Clans, it's like technically this you could do with the Night Village as well and other higher villages and so on. So there are a lot of possibilities, and yeah, like I continue with this. So if there's some interest, second sponsor, more like the opposite of a sponsor, because there it's more like that we don't ask them for money. It's more like the opposite. That because it's Blender. It's this amazing software. They have a fund, and it's completely for free, and they are based on donation. So giving something back to them would be very nice. So big shout out. The link to download it is down there. And last sponsor, like this whole video series is based on this NVIDIA RTX. Right now I'm doing all of this with the 3060 Ti. It's working fine. I'm happy with it. But of course, like I've seen others getting sponsored as well with the 4090. And if there's some interest in contact, maybe the following sequences can influence your decision, because this is Clash of Clans. RTX is on. And as promised, you get all of this here for free. I thought about making a Patreon and putting it behind the paywall, and there are a lot of websites selling videos and so on. And like I could sell this here, like I know this here has a big value, you know, like this. Yeah, I know this, but I also I know what I'm doing. At least I hope so. And I'm also like, there are so many amazing people out there, like people doing 3D printing. Maybe even pros could use this to plan their attacks. Maybe Supercell even themselves can use it and think about making an actual game about it. Like there's so much potential. So if you are somebody being able to do something useful with it, then go ahead. Link is down below. I've like one time all the buildings like as they are, and then I also have them down below as geonodes, so that they're way easier for your computer. If it's not such an easy computer, then it's easier for you. But one thing still missing, like if you look at it, it's more like a photo, like nothing is moving. And this whole software is more like an animation software, so you can do things in there. You can even animate the texture actually, so like the infernal lava can be animated moving. Every yeah, building can move and rotate and so on, and yeah, I want to make it alive, kind of. This will come soon for part 2, stay tuned for that. And part 3 is also in the planning, because if you look at these towers and so on, it's a little bit empty, and if you pay very, very close attention, like 2 buildings are actually missing, like the 2, yeah. Yeah, this could mean something for part 3, because